I've had to make a lot of really difficult, really important decisions in my life. And one of the things that was always most important to me is that I felt like it was aligned. I believe that there is a path for us that's ideal. I also believe that we have free will. And it's been so important to me that with every decision that I make, that I want to know that this is the best possible path for me, that this is the path that's going to bring me the most joy, the most fulfillment. And it's been years and years and years of studying how to know which steps to take. How do I know which way to go, which direction, especially whenever you come up on those hard decisions, those like forks in the road that could really make a big difference in how the next steps of your life play out. So how do you know that a decision is aligned or that it's the best one on the path for you? How do you know that this is the best choice that you can make? In my experience, there's been three main ways. The first one is that the idea doesn't leave you. In some of the best, most aligned decisions I've made, I didn't necessarily take that path the first time. The ideas that would come to me, they would come and then I'm not ready for this. So I'd let it go and it would always come back. I had to make the decision that I wanted to be an artist, and it was a difficult one because we are all aware of that idea of the starving artist. And I went to school to be an engineer because I thought that that was going to be a really reliable and sustainable career, something I could depend on. So to make the decision to become an artist, a professional artist, felt unstable to me at the time. It's an idea that I had since I was 10 years old and that I was able to let go of pretty easily because, you know, I'm young and whatever. Everybody wants to be something when they're young, ballerina or NFL player or whatever. I wanted to be an artist. It was, you know, a childish, whimsical dream, but it kept coming back. It came back around the time when I was 18. It was time to choose a college. And I'm like, oh, I want to go to an art school. But I didn't. I went to school for engineering. And after that, I was not happy. I was so miserable in the field. Yeah, I was stable. Yeah, I had a steady paycheck and I worked for a corporate company and, you know, I had the cell phone and the expense card and all of the bells and whistles, but I felt so empty inside and all I wanted to do was create. And so I couldn't help but have all these ideas pop into my head all throughout the day. It was calling me. It was a calling. And I think when decisions are the right decisions, they keep calling us. They don't stop because we put the phone down, right? They keep ringing. So that's the first one. The second one is anytime I have a choice to make, and it's my next choice, the first thing I do is I get quiet. And I say the prayer, where would you have me to go? What would you have me to do? What would you have me to say? And to whom? And then I just listen. And without fail, maybe not immediately, but at least like within the time that I can calm myself down, I will feel peace in my heart about a decision. And that is the number two thing, is that there's a peace about the decision. There's a peace. It's like the difference between a decision that is maybe not the best decision and you have this tightness and this tension that you feel in your body, and it just there's an uneasiness about it. And the difference between that and a good decision or an aligned decision is it comes with a sense of peace. It's like almost as though you feel like, even if this doesn't work out, I know it was the right decision. Like there doesn't need to be a particular outcome for this to be the best decision. And that feeling of knowing that this is right for me no matter what, like I feel peace about that. I feel like no matter what happens, this was right. I remember when I was laid off from my job in 2020 and The minute that I heard the news, it was so shocking because I wasn't expecting it. I got on this Zoom call with my boss, and then somebody else popped on and said HR, and even the expression on my boss's face at the time, I remember, because she was so just stiff. Like, she just like she wouldn't talk in response to me. It was like, it was so odd from someone who I got to be very personable with. But anyway, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was parked on the side of the road. I had just dropped my son off at daycare, and oh gosh, I'll never forget that moment. I never forget where I was. And all of the details, that she started explaining about being laid off at that point, it sounded like wah, 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 like the Charlie Brown teacher. And as soon as I got home, I walked in the door and I let it out. I started bawling because it was such a shock. But I knew I needed to do something, at least to readjust my mood, to soothe myself. And the only thing at the time that I could think of was to build something, because that's what I was doing at the time. This was before I had made my leap into being the artist that I wanted to become. So I went to Home Depot, and I remember walking into Home Depot, and I remember feeling like I was flying, like I was so light and so at peace. And I was so happy. I probably looked like I was on something. I was smiling at everybody that passed me. I felt released, and I felt peace about being released. And I knew at that moment that being laid off, that had been done for me, not to me. And there was peace about the next steps that I was going to take to go build something of my own. The third way to know that you're making an aligned decision, or that your choice is the right one for you, is that things keep lining up, and seemingly out of nowhere, just synchronicities out of the blue. And it's like, it might even just be in subtle ways where you have an idea and somebody else might give you a suggestion that's the same idea. And then the next day, somebody might suggest the same thing to you. And it happens 3 times. 3 times, that's my magic number, where I know if something is mentioned to me or comes into my life 3 times, I'm paying attention at that point. So when things just start lining up, that's a sign that things are moving for you. I remember when I so badly wanted to build my dream house, and I was so excited, and this house was so far out of my price range. It was a far off dream. It was maybe 10 years down the line dream. And so my husband at the time, we were deciding on where to live next. And so we went with a different house that we liked, but it wasn't the house, but it was okay. We were good with it. We were going to make our home there. And then 10 years, we were going to go build our dream house. So that was the plan. And so we are one day away from putting a contract down on this house. And he says to me, hey, you should go out and just double check, make sure there's not anything else out there that we might be interested in before we put a contract down on this house. And so I'm like frustrated. I'm like, you can't just stick to a decision. We already made the decision. So I'm fighting it in my head, and on the outside, I'm like, okay, I'll go look. I will appease. So I did. And as it turned out, the exact dream house that we wanted to build, they had just opened up a new neighborhood on a great part of the city that we really liked. And they were building it for the same price we were about to put a contract on for the other house we were going to build. And when I tell you that whole process went so smoothly that just from choosing the finishes that we wanted and to the building schedule, and it was an incredible smooth process, and it was just a really exciting time. When I think about these 3 signs, it's usually 2 out of the 3. So if I have 2 out of these 3 signs, I know it's a go. If I feel peace about it and things are lining up, even though it might be a new idea, not something that's like stuck with me for a while, I still know this is a good decision. Or if I've had some idea that's been with me for a long time, I don't feel peace about it, which usually leads back to fear, but things are lining up. Things are like opportunities are falling into my lap. I know, okay, this is it. So 2 out of the 3, that's usually for me enough to know, hey, this is the right way to go. This is the right path. And I have not regretted a single one of those decisions where I've had at least 2 of those things line up. So let me know, what are some signs that you have seen? Have you seen some of these signs in your life? Have you seen some of 1 or 2 or 3 of these things in your decisions, and how did it work out for you? Let me know. And if you're interested in any of the art that I show during any of these videos, you can find that all on my website, AliciaNicoleJackson.com. See you soon.